It's a real gun. It's a real gun.
The moment Alec Baldwin is informed that Halyna Hutchins is dead.
You're okay.
Sorry.
Just relax. Just relax.
I'm so scared.
You're all right.
Just the second film, the 24-year-old was hired on as lead armorer.
She didn't need more training with. She's got me.
I need you to know who's in charge. Everybody stops what they're doing right now. This is a crime scene.
Lack of safety on the set of Rust is incomprehensible.
Lack of common sense to have live rounds on a film set.
They all kind of vary a little bit. That's just the thing about them.
Welcome to It's Giving Sus, the podcast where the line between the intriguing and the unsettling is blurred. Every episode, we dive deep into the world of true crime and scandals, bringing you the most suspicious and jaw-dropping stories from around the world. There's so much crazy stuff going on, and we need to talk about all of it. Bizarre happenings, scams, cults, crimes, or controversial figures, we're here to dissect it all. Nothing is off limits. Join us as we unpack and comprehend this episode's story. And remember, if it's giving sus, stay curious and stay skeptical.
Warning: this episode contains discussion of extremely sensitive topics. Please check the show notes for more details before proceeding. We ask that you please take caution when listening. If you or someone you know is in need of resources, please check the episode notes for more information. Thank you for listening.
Welcome back to another episode of It's Giving Sus. There's something over the weekend that really has caught my attention, and that is the Halyna Gutierrez case, which is the armorer on the movie Rust that fatally loaded a weapon that was discharged and killed the cinematographer Halyna Hutchins. More information over the past 2 years has came out, and there's a lot of red flags for me. I need to know what you guys think. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. We really appreciate it, and we love seeing this community grow. So thank you for being here, and thank you for watching. The armorer, Halyna Gutierrez, on the set of Rust, is facing charges of manslaughter and evidence tampering. She's pleaded not guilty to all of her charges, and the trial has started Thursday. So day 1 and day 2 just happened this past week. So a lot more is going to come out. They're expected to be in trial for about 3 weeks. From what I've gathered, I'm already just nothing's adding up to me. Nothing is making sense. The trial highlights that Gutierrez-Reed brought the live ammunition to the film set, leading to the tragic accident. Just so we're clear, there should never be any live ammo on a film set. The prosecutors argue that she failed to ensure safety protocols that were followed diligently because there have been multiple accidents on film sets, and people have lost their lives. In the trial, they're talking about 3 different types of ammunition, and I'm not a gun person. I've never shot a gun. I'm actually scared of them, but I've been learning through this process of the trial and all of the evidence being presented. I've learned a lot about these different types of ammunition, and they all have markers, or when you shake it, that you know it's not the live ammo. So the armorer's responsibility is to check all of these things. They're the only ones that are handling the weapon besides the actor when they're using it, and they have the blank rounds, they have the dummy rounds, and then the other rounds we're going to be talking about is the live ammo. So on a film set, you would see the blank rounds, which will still fire, but nothing comes out of the gun, but a little bit of smoke, and it makes the same sound. While the dummy round, it's a dummy. It doesn't actually do anything, but it looks like a bullet. So if they're filming a scene where they need to go close, zoom in onto the gun, it looks like a bullet. And for me, in my head, I'm like, well, why do we even need like real guns? Like, isn't there enough special effects? Like, have you seen Avatar? Like, why do we need to have real guns? And obviously we shouldn't have real bullets on set, but this individual is on trial because she was responsible for these things, and the prosecutors are saying that and alleging that she brought this ammo on set. Gutierrez-Reed's defense claims that she is being unfairly prosecuted and points to the broader safety issues that were on the set. The trial is ongoing in New Mexico, And Gutierrez-Reed is potentially facing up to 18 months in prison and a $5,000 fine if convicted of involuntary manslaughter. With everything that I know that I'm going to go into, the red flags right now, 18 months is not a very long time for somebody who, like, somebody died. 2 people were shot and Halyna Hutchins was killed. Graphic content warning, but the bullet through her, I believe they said the side or her armpit, through her entire body and hit someone else on set. And this person's name was Joel and was dislodged in his shoulder or his arm. 18 months. In my eyes, this person, the armorer, Gutierrez-Reed, is solely responsible for the reason that Halyna Hutchins is dead right now. We're going to keep an open mind, watch the trial play out, and it's a jury of her peers at the end of the day. Allegedly, on her first movie she worked on with Nicolas Cage, he was extremely upset with her because she had fired off a couple rounds without people around her who had ear protection or any warning, and this was set number 2. Halyna Gutierrez, she's 24 years old. She is the armorer responsible for all of these things on set. The incident happens and they take her in for an interview. She's waiting in the detective's office. You know, they have like the cameras and they're recording the whole time. She's on the phone and she says, I talked to Sarah and she said that she checked the box and some of them didn't rattle, meaning that the dummy rounds have a sound when you shake them, and the real rounds, the real bullets, when you shake them, they don't have a sound. So whoever she was talking to on the phone in the investigator's office, she flat out said that Sarah, whoever Sarah is, she's another person on set, checked the box and they didn't have the rattle, which would indicate they were real rounds, not dummy rounds, in alleged box of where the dummy rounds were supposed to be. Halyna Gutierrez's energy and vibe during this interrogation, I watched there was 2 total that I saw. Her entire energy and vibe was so off. And the notes that I put down was that she was just very aloof and unprofessional. And the descriptions that she gave were very brief and a lot of well, I don't know. Well, maybe. Well, things like that.
Yeah. Honestly, I can't remember really if I got, if they were running the box or if they were from, on top of we have a cart.
And just watching her, she looked like she had no idea what she was talking about. She sounded like she had no idea. And even worse than that, she just seemed so unprofessional. Her lack of empathy for the victims. And she's in this self-pity and she pulls bullets out of her pocket. Okay, first of all, I'll get to that. But she's just annoyed that she's being asked questions. I felt that there was zero remorse. She seems very selfish and she really gave off the vibe that she was being inconvenienced or it just made me so uncomfortable. And if I'm a jury of your peers and I'm watching that and I'm watching this interrogation or I'm the detective, I'm it just doesn't, the emotion and the behavior isn't translating to what just occurred. But I guess everybody does act differently. I just don't know. The other people who were also investigated and interrogated or whatever you want, they went to the detective's office. They were not acting like that at all. They were literally crying, traumatized, trying to figure it out. We need to know if those were live bullets. We need to know. We need to figure them out.
After the investigator says no one has come forward, Kenny brings up an alleged text conversation he had with Gutierrez-Reed on August 15th, 2021.
She wanted to shoot live ammo out of the gun.
And this chick is just I don't know. It was so weird. A big red flag came when it was disclosed that she tried to dispose of cocaine. She passed it off to someone else on set. I mean, that can imply that she maybe was under the influence or the night before. Someone said that she was extremely hungover. And they started going into some of her text messages the night before and leading up to the incident. And it looks like she was participating in some different activities that could make you kind of off when you need to be right-minded and on a professional setting where someone's literal life is in danger. It's not looking okay. The interviewers come into the office, the detectives, and the first thing that she asks them before they even say like hi or hello or like whatever, like no questions have started, she's like, did you find out about that fanny pack? The ladies that are interviewing her are like, oh, well, we called and the scene is like being secured. So in my head, I'm like, why is she so interested in this fanny pack? Like, what is that about? It comes out that like her fanny pack has lots and lots of pockets, and she would keep like the different bullets in the pockets and pull them out depending on like what she was doing or what scene they were shooting. If that's the first thing that she's worried about, I believe, and now we know she's being charged with evidence tampering, I believe that she was trying to get that fanny pack. Maybe there was drugs in there. Maybe she wanted to get rid of the other bullets, but she wanted that fanny pack. And it was very odd to me, and I wrote that down because imagine like this tragedy happens and you are responsible or whatever happens. Do you have any remorse? And the first thing you want to do is like, where's the fanny pack? Not like, is everyone okay? Like, oh my God, I feel terrible. Like literally, where's the fanny pack? Her claim is that the dummy had been discharged, and the dummy is the one that doesn't do anything. No smoke comes out, no sound. It's just the dummy. She's describing the bullets and telling the investigators what she thinks happened in the situation. And she like pulls these bullets out of her pocket.
And I ran out, and Dave brought me the gun, and I opened the gun up, and one of the dummies somehow had been discharged.
And can you kind of explain a little bit more what you mean by that it was discharged?
So if I had a bullet, wait, I have some dummies. Right, check these out. I wish it had just been one of these. But see how these have like the hole?
Okay.
And this one doesn't have a primer, right? Okay. And most of them, like, they have like the primers, but the primers aren't like hot.
And I'm just like, what? I'm sorry. Like, I'm not an armorer, but I've never had bullets in my pockets. And then that's like evidence, right? So she's just like, she has all these bullets in her pocket. So like, I don't know if they asked her to bring them, but they ended up collecting them and like putting them like in a baggie. So it's just, it was so uncomfortable for me. The detectives asked Hannah if she had seen the shell of the bullet. She said yes. She said it didn't have the hole like the dummy or the blanks. And in quotes, it looked like a regular bullet. And it just really feels like she has no idea. Like she has no idea, or she just is lying. Like, I don't know, but she just can't give them like an answer. Or at least for me, like I couldn't get her story to like make sense.
Yeah, I mean, like they all kind of vary a little bit. That's just the thing about them. Honestly, I can't remember really.
A while later in the interrogation, she says exactly this. She says that the blank is what was 100% in the gun, except this part or the primer, but no hole. But she said that the shell looked like it was 100% from a real bullet. As an armorer, she is supposed to take every single bullet out. And this is a revolver that we're talking about specifically. So there were 6 bullets. She's supposed to take each individual bullet out, double check, shake it, 6 times, right? And she's saying that she did that and they were all fine. But obviously she didn't, right? This scene specifically that they were filming, they weren't supposed to be firing. They weren't even filming. They were actually like rehearsing right before to get like the lighting and like the camera angles and everything set up. And then they took lunch. They were like running through it again. There wasn't supposed to be any firing happening at that point. They're saying that the trigger or the hammer was not supposed to be pulled at all. And it was, but that's not the point. The point is that like the bullets that were in there, they weren't even supposed to be there. And then the live ones obviously weren't even supposed to be on set. So it doesn't matter like supposed to be firing or not or whatever. It's like it happened. And anytime that like you have a weapon, there's a possibility that it can go off, even if it's not supposed to. So why have the bullets in it in the first place? And then obviously like, oh my God, this is honestly such like a tragedy and like my worst nightmare. I have like some past stuff with guns in my life that have happened, and some people have lost their lives, and some things that I've experienced personally with an open shooter and whatever. That's time for a different day, but that is like my worst actual fear. Even just like seeing a firearm or knowing that there's one, I'm just like on edge because this exact situation, like someone's like, no, I know how to handle my gun, or no, these are blanks or whatever. Like, I don't know that. apparently it's easy to skip some steps when there's bullets involved, like, anyways. Another quote that Hannah said during the interview that really stood out to me was that the box of dummies, the dummy rounds, may have had some wonky ones in it. Well, then you're the one responsible. Why wouldn't you go get a different box? Why wouldn't you bring that up to somebody? So if they were wonky, you would still load them into the gun. Hannah also says that they may have borrowed the ammo, and she didn't know. She was going to ask Sarah, who was the props manager. Hannah says that Seth may have borrowed the ammo, and Seth is another character that is going to come into play because he is the owner of this props company that they sourced these different things from. Hannah is saying Seth may have borrowed the ammo, meaning that she got the ammo from Seth and he may have got it from someone, and that's how the bullets ended up in there. And Sarah says to Hannah that maybe Seth has borrowed the ammo, and that's how we got these live rounds in there.
Do you have any doubts as to whether or not you accidentally supplied live ammunition to the set of Rust?
I have no doubts at all that it definitely did not come through me.
And then she says, that's all that I heard from Sarah because the police officers told me to stop talking to her. Another interesting statement Hannah made during her interrogation was that there's always a chance that safety can be compromised on set, and that's why my job is my job. Like, yes. So you are aware of those facts, and now they're on the record, and you were negligent of those jobs, and someone lost their life. To go back to Seth, who is the owner of the props company, Hannah says that Seth orders all of the rounds, all of the ammo, and she just gets what she gets, and she's told not to mess with it. So she's deflecting this blame over to Seth, which maybe if they can trace the chain of this ammo and these different things, which the prosecutors have already started to lay out in court, are the bullets that were live on set matching Hannah Gutierrez's bullets from back home in Arizona? We'll let the jury decide. But they're trying to trace back how these bullets got on set, right? In this first initial interview, Hannah is deflecting some responsibility over to Seth. Oh my God. Okay, the next part actually makes me so uncomfortable. And they ask Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, the armorer, what's the protocol? What is your protocol? And she's confused by this question. She's like, protocol? They're like, yeah, what's the process of when you do X, Y, and Z, and you have live firearms and live ammo, or not live ammo. You have ammo and firearms on set. What is your protocol? You would think there was some sort of standard. Hannah is confused by this. She doesn't really have an answer. And instead of saying okay, the first thing that we do is check it in and do an inventory. The second thing that we do is double check all this thing. And then third thing is this, right? She doesn't say any of that. She says, in quotes, mostly my protocol is checking the barrel and checking the dummies and making sure that they are dummies. That's not a protocol. That's a job duty. I don't know, but it freaked me out. Maybe that's why the film crew left. They put in there that it felt unsafe in the email that they wrote the night before this incident occurred. I need to hear their testimony if they are going to be witnesses, which I'm sure that they are. But oh God. More information has came out recently too that other members of the cast on set, it had been discovered that there was also live rounds on them. In their belt. This was just an accident that was going to happen. How can you, I feel guilty if I don't, call somebody back or text them back. How could you just be so irresponsible with people's lives and weapons? It's just mind-blowing and it's disgusting. I don't know if I want to say this, but she really gave me the vibe. Let's pretend I'm a jury of her peers. During that first interview that I was watching, she really, really gave me the vibe. I wasn't certain that she didn't do this on purpose. And I don't know if I'm making sense, but the way that she was acting didn't make me say, wow, this is a horrendous accident. It more in my head and my gut had me feeling like, oh my God, like, how can something that serious get out of control? So, like, could this have been on purpose? And I don't want to say that. These are just the thoughts that are going through my head. Like, her behavior didn't hold any weight with me believing that this was only an accident. I don't know if that's hello. I don't know if that's making sense. But maybe if she went in there and she was like crying and she was upset and she was like distraught and just really trying to help the investigators like get to the bottom of this situation, I would have been like, it's more believable that this was just like an honest, tragic accident. Maybe there was a weird round that got in there. Maybe this was some crazy anomaly, like in the movie The Crow, where they were shooting the blanks, but there was a piece of something in the barrel of the gun and it actually discharged. Maybe it was something like that. And nobody ever wants to think, at least I don't ever want to think like that there's just people out here with like malicious intent. But when I watched the interview, it didn't give me any backing that like this person did not mean to do this. It honestly just disgusts me. The more and more that I learn, I'm just sick. I'm sickened. When the investigators were still going through the process, she like is explaining what happened on the set, and then this really weird thing she said. She was like, "Yeah, Halyna, she got shot." Not like Halyna, the cinematographer. Like, no, Halyna, she got shot.
We got our camera crew just quit last night.
Wow.
Yeah, the whole something except for like 2 one dudes that stayed.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the DP, the director.
Do you know anybody's name?
Halyna, the DP, she got shot. The director is Joel.
And you said that. I'm sorry. So DP. And you said that he was also shot.
Yeah, which is just mind-boggling to me. Yeah, both of them got shot.
It was just so weird. I'll play the clip, but like, what? This person is literally like, I just feel like this person is out of their mind, out of control, and I really don't know. Like, I just have a sick feeling in my stomach about this individual. To wrap up the investigation, the 2 detectives show Hannah a picture of a bullet. And this is actually the bullet that came out of Joel's shoulder. This is the bullet that had passed through Halyna Hutchins and had hit Joel in the arm where he was in surgery in the hospital. They remove the bullet and they ask her. They don't tell her anything that I just said. They just said, "Can you tell us what kind of bullet this is?"
And I just want to see if this is something that would have come out of one of these. Totally. It wouldn't be a real live gun, ammo. So that looks like a blank one, which I'm pretty sure, because not only the blank one, like they have kind of this little line right there, and I'm pretty sure the regular ones don't. Okay. So that looks like that would be in the blank all the time. Good. That was what was pulled out of the shoulder. Oh my God. So that's why they were thinking it could be an actual live round at this point. Really? Yeah. Does that look like it would have been a live round too? Or honestly, if we had my ex-doctor, we could. I don't know. Because we're not lying. That's kind of a disease. I think that's nothing for down here. Hold on. That might be a regular live round, though. And it looks pretty if that's what they were thinking and could be a live round. I don't know.
And in quotes, Hannah Gutierrez says, "That looks like the blank one," which I'm pretty sure, because normally the blank ones, like they kind of have this little line right there, and I'm pretty sure the regular ones don't. Does that sound reassuring to you? Anything that I just said, does that sound like this is a professional that they know what they're talking about? And my life is in this person's hands? Absolutely not. I'm walking off set with the camera crew. Crazy. She goes on to say, I'm pretty sure the regular ones don't. And that looks like that would be, like, it actually doesn't make sense what she says. I'll play the clip rather than me saying this right now, but that looks like that would be in the blanks all the time. Like, this is my point. I just, like, can't get her story to actually make any sense to me. The detectives tell Hannah, like, okay, this was the bullet that was actually pulled out of Joel's arm. She says, oh, poor Halyna. Yeah, and I don't think that they knew that she had passed away at this time during the interview, but oh, poor Halyna. What? What a weird, like, and she just said it with, like, a straight face, like, just sitting here. No emotion, no, it wasn't like a real reaction. Oh, poor Halyna. The investigators disclosed at this time that that's why they think that this was a live round, because of this bullet, and they're seeing the picture. This is what came out of Joel's arm, and then Hannah changes up her story. Once that she knows that the detectives think that this was a live bullet. She has the realization, I guess, that might be a regular live round though. Holy F. The detectives are asking Hannah, like, did anyone that you know on set have any problems with Joel or Halyna? Anything like that to try to rule out any other suspects? And Hannah says she's definitely a strong personality. That's
Joel
all.
was the other one? I don't believe anyone had issues with Joel. Halyna.
Halyna.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know too much about her. She's definitely a strong personality, that's all.
I don't know about that one. Red flags. Red flags, that's all I know. Hannah goes on to say, I can't believe I'm like the last person to have something happen since The Crow. To me, again, like those alarms and like that stomach feeling, it was almost as like, I could be reading into this way too much, but as a jury of her peers, these are the things that are sticking out to me, is that like she was almost bragging about it.
I mean, it was what, The Crow, when that happened.
Yeah, that was scary, man.
These things happen when somebody.
I know, I can't believe I'm like the last thing like this to happen since The Crow.
And
my own
unfortunately, well, I think right now they're good, but at the halfway, unfortunately, you were there right away, like, oh, it's the person who is in charge of all these.
Totally.
Like she wanted to be known for that or something. I don't know. I really hope that's not the case. So she says, I heard one shot. I opened the gun. I rejected the rest of the ammo and the rest were fine. And another interesting note, she starts saying that the camera crew were full of animosity and really toxic. So it's interesting that they're the ones quitting, saying that they weren't safe. And then she's the one saying they were like toxic and full of animosity. Yeah, probably because you were firing off rounds without warning anybody. Just like you did on the set with Nicolas Cage. On your first set. Now this is set 2. And you just think you're hot shit, like knowing everything with literally playing with fucking bullets. Oh, it just really irritates me because that woman would still be alive if this person just had some care. And another side note, she was talking about like how someone would have got this specific ammo, and she's like, oh, I don't know, I would have checked it more. I wish I would have checked it more, but all I know is that it's really hard to get 45 ammo right now since the election. Sus. In quotes, like, I should have checked it more. Like, she is claiming that responsibility right there in that first interview. So how are you going to go in front of the judge and the jury and be like, no, she wasn't responsible, when literally she's the one who said, I should have checked it more? Just saying. But she talks about her cart a lot, and this is like a rolling, moving cart, and there's like a bottom shelf and like the top shelf, and like I don't know, like back in like in school, teachers would like use them to like move like the printer or something. Like I don't know, it's the best way I can like describe it, but she's like assigned this cart, and no one else should be like touching it. She can keep organized and like blah blah blah. They show a picture of this. I'll put it up here, but it was just like so much shit just piled on there, like a hoarder, like piles of stuff and wrappers and jackets and this and that, and like just random bullets everywhere. She had random bullets in like different purses and different makeup bags. I'm just like, this isn't like little like packets of candy. Like you just have bullets and you're supposed to have them like organized and you just have them like thrown around. Like they're literally just rocks. It's got me messed up. It's all I can think about. I can't wait for next week to come around to see what else is revealed in this trial. And Hannah leaves the interview saying that I feel like this was really just an effed up accident. Which it is. But it didn't have to be. And that's the point of her trial. It didn't have to be this effed up accident.